Welcome back to She Did Her Best.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so last week was 4th of July.
Okay, we're not supposed to talk about dates, remember?
Oh, really?
Yes, because of when they get published.
Yeah, but like, who cares? We can talk about it. Like, it's a thing. I was going to bring up that you had us over and had a pool party, and we had a great time.
Didn't Dan get mad about us talking about dates?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Jesus.
The only thing I recall him getting mad at us about was having music.
Girl, you ain't been around.
Well, then maybe he needs to learn to communicate better with somebody that is not his wife.
Probably a good idea.
Okay, so I'm sorry, you were saying earlier. What did you
do to do your best this week?
I was a lazy sod this week. I have been off work. I was off work last week and this week involuntarily. So this
involuntarily because of something you did?
No, because my boss took time off and therefore I have to take time off.
Got it.
Because I don't have shit to do if he's not there.
Got it.
So, I went to the gym with Ames. We got it down. It was great.
Out and
it
down.
felt good. Yeah, it felt good. But like really, I cleaned my house again and it looks amazing. I watered the plants and I didn't really have to try my hardest this week. And I was really happy about that.
Oh, how good for you.
Yeah.
I'm so glad for you.
Okay, so Kayla, I mean, girlfriend, it sounds like you really had to do your best this week. What happened?
I had a great week, but I just am stressing myself out.
Yeah.
So I, am just trying to not let little things get to me and think of big picture and not put pressure on myself. And yeah. So, Eliana and I had a good week together and that was really fun. So focusing on the positive.
Yeah.
We spent 9 hours, 12 hours, something like that at the hair salon together.
For not your hair.
For not my hair. My hair took about an hour.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even
gotta love that all over color.
I didn't even put any dye on my hair. She just did a glaze.
Oh.
Washed me out, did a glaze.
Yeah. She's like, it's great. You're great.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
sorry, you're going to be here for another days of work.
And worked while Eliana got her hair done.
That sounds about right. And she loves it.
The chunky 2000s highlights. They're back.
They're back. And I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. It actually looks really great.
I know. I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I would, if I could have had my hair any way I wanted, I would have had it like that at some point.
Totally.
But it was a lot of upkeep that I was not prepared for.
Yeah.
And couldn't afford. TBH.
Us either.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah. She's got extra chores.
Yeah.
Now that you paid for that hair.
Exactly.
But I mean, it turned out amazing on the first try.
It did.
So it worth
Super impressed.
10 hours.
It was worth it.
Worth the work day.
Yes.
Okay.
So we did
I love that.
We did a nail day. We got our nails done. Back to school.
Yeah. And
Getting ready for back to school.
And I heard that shopping was
a success.
good.
Went off without a hitch.
I love that.
I'm shooketh.
Did you spend too much money?
Probably. I mean, when do I not?
I mean, yeah.
No, I mean, sure. Too much money, but also she just totally cleared out her room and got rid of so much stuff. So she also needed clothes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like frivolously, oh my God, let's buy everything.
Yeah.
It was like she had 10 shirts left in her closet.
Yeah. No.
So it was time for a revamp.
You love your baby girl.
Duh.
Spoiled rotten.
Mm-hmm. She is.
She's so spoiled rotten.
Mm-hmm.
Rotten. So it's funny that you say that because today I want to do like a little combo episode of our firsts. So like our first kiss, our first date, our first vacation, and like millennial things that we love that are now coming back in style. And I'm 100% here for it.
Yeah.
And I just wish I had a mom like you to take me on a shopping spree right now. Because real talk, I was in Target yesterday. That place had me shooketh.
I know.
Everything was adorable. I'm like, hello, when did you get this? And I'm here for it.
Some of it's cute and some of it I'm not in for, but you know, that's okay.
It was probably a good 50-50 for me, which is a really big percentage of cuteness. And also like denim is back. Girl, denim on denim,
Jorts.
on denim, on denim.
Jorts.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no.
It's crazy.
No. Okay, so let's talk about firsts first. And then we'll get into the things we love. And I think it's probably going to end up tying together because I like to do that. I like to go on tangents. So, okay, so we'll get to the juicy in a second. But let's start with like young childhood things.
Okay.
So let's start with vacation, your first vacation. Do you remember where you went, who you were visiting, who you were with?
Yeah. So the first vacation that I like vividly remember was going to Brazil. When it was this is like big vacation, my grandpa's 80th birthday. I think I was going into 7th grade.
Okay.
Because like we went to we would drive to Sacramento, which was like 6 hours away or whatever. Yeah. But that like doesn't count as a vacation.
Because you grew up in Monterey. We're just reminding our friends.
Yeah. I grew up in California. So my mom's half of my mom's family lived in Sacramento. So we would drive up there a lot. But I don't count that as a real vacation.
Right. I get it. The first time you go somewhere and sometimes, granted, you probably are visiting family, but the first time you go somewhere where you're like, this is some place that I will not visit for at least the next couple years.
Yeah, exactly.
If not for the next 5 or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went to Brazil for my grandpa's 80th and that was super fun. It was me and my sister, my dad and my mom. All 4 of us went. That was the last time all 4 of us went too. So super fun. Had a great time. I got back to school late. I remember 8th grade. I was a week and a half late to the start of school because we were in Brazil. And I remember one of my teachers giving me crap about it. And I was like, sorry. I don't know.
Yeah, you act like I'm in charge.
Yeah, exactly.
Not in charge over here.
Yeah. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, that was the first real vacation that I remember.
Okay.
And it was I think it was one of the only real vacations our whole family took together.
So did you remember doing anything super fun or you just got to see some family that you may have never met?
No, I mean, I had been to Brazil before, but by myself.
Okay.
And yeah, I just think it was cool that we were all there together and it was a real family vacation. You know what I mean? It wasn't me going by myself or just me and my dad. It was all of us. And so that was super special too.
Good.
So, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to spend a whole bunch of money in order for it to be memorable. It was the fact that it was a family, it was all of you guys as a family. I'm sure you don't remember any arguing or.
I mean, I'm sure there was, but I don't remember.
But you don't remember it.
Yeah.
So, and that's, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what about you?
So my first vacation that I remember, I was probably 4th or 5th grade is my guess. And I remember my dad and my stepmom, we always went places with them.
Yeah.
My mom it was hard to travel with her. So we didn't go far. If we went it was San Diego far. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was never more than 5 or 6 hours. And it usually took us the whole way to get there because my mom would be uncomfortable and we'd have to move her around. So anyways, so I remember my dad and my stepmom bought a motorhome. And so there was 4 of us kids. It was my brother and I, and then my 2 stepsisters from my stepmom. And we were all in this motorhome, and we were driving to Destin, Florida.
Oh, wow. From Arizona.
From Arizona. Yes.
Oh, hell no.
So, and
I'm out.
I think my stepmom hated us and me particularly even more after that, after being stuck with us 24/7. But they ended up buying like multiple more motorhomes, and we ended up doing a couple more things as a family after this. But anyways, so they must have liked it ish.
Yeah. And that's where they ended up living now, not like in Florida.
Yeah, they're in northern Florida now. Yes.
Got it.
That's where because they both retired. So, and that's where they wanted to be. And my brother's dad always was really big on fishing. So like, I remember really like short little spouts as a kid. This is why I don't count these as this vacation, but little spouts as a kid. Like we would go to Florida a couple times in the winter time, because my grandparents lived up there, his parents. Half the year they were snowbirds from Ohio to Florida, and then they would drive back and forth. Anyways, so they would go down in like September and then leave in like May.
Yeah.
So we would go down there, and I remember catching fish when I was really, really young. So I've been fishing a super long time, but this was a vacation. I do remember when we got there, how beautiful the beach was. White sand. Like, I have yet to see a more beautiful beach than this beach in the continental US. This is like comparable to like Virgin Islands, white powdery sand. The water wasn't as clear, but it was gorgeous. So if you've never been, Destin, Florida is gorgeous, but I don't know what else to do there.
Right.
Because I was young and like, I didn't carry enough other than like, just getting like a little souvenir shirt.
Yeah.
But it was the drive that was very memorable.
Yeah.
I remember him doing like 10, 12, 14-hour drive days and just like sleeping as much as we could. My stepmom got us each these, and this is something she did excel in, is trying to keep us busy. She had like little like folder or bins for us, like those like Trapper Keeper things.
Yeah.
And it had a whole bunch of like drive games for kids. Yeah. So it had like, every time you get a license plate from, like if you get one from Alaska, you check it off. If you get one, so you're trying to get them from all over. There was like little card games in there, like puzzles and word searches and stuff like that. Like that was great
fun
for that kind of a thing. And honestly, it probably saved her a little bit because we would be busy doing
occupied.
it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Exactly. And there was 4 of us. So like usually because I was the oldest by 3 months, my other stepsister was 3 months younger than me, but I was by far the more dominant personality.
No.
And I was always the teacher, and like there was, but like we had a great time doing it.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling the relief from them when we got there.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, we finally made it. We're not going to kill. We did not murder these children and dump them in a dumpster somewhere in Arkansas.
Oh my God. I couldn't do it. No.
Yeah. So like, I think that's really, that was one thing that they always were doing, is they always had something planned in the summertime.
Yeah.
To go somewhere or do something. Usually it revolved around somewhere family was near, or if we could drive a couple hours and go visit the family.
Yeah.
And my stepmom's family lived in Orlando.
Gotcha.
Or outside of it at the time. So like we ended up doing that trip. We went to Gatorland, I remember, which was...
What is that?
Okay. So it's great. So it's literally like a zoo, but it's for mostly like alligators, crocodiles, snakes, like reptiles.
Interesting.
And this is Florida. So like
they're everywhere.
Yeah. But they have them named. I follow them on Instagram.
Oh my God. Of course you do.
Yeah, of course I do. So yeah, but they like put on, I remember them putting on a show, like, every hour of the day. And I remember it was like this Steve Irwin looking motherfucker. And I know my dad VHS taped it because he had one of those like ones that like sat on your shoulder.
Oh my gosh.
There's video of me. There's so much video of me that I may never get of it when I was a kid because they recorded us. They recorded everything. They had video cameras ever since I can remember them being out. But
have you asked for any of them?
I haven't.
You should try and ask.
I should ask.
Because like there's so many companies now that will digitize your VHS
send me the VHSs and I will pay to have it.
Yeah, digitized and
I'm going to have to ask
disperse it and I'll give you back the originals if you really want them.
Yeah. At a girl.
Get it.
Because like I don't have a VHS player.
Yeah.
So I don't even have a DVD player.
Me either.
Right. Right. So it was a really great vacation. We got to experience a lot of things. I remember my stepmom's sister, her name is Debbie, always so nice to us, always so great. She had a son of her own, and he was around our age. So when we went out to visit, and I don't remember if this was the same, it had to be around the same timeline, but we went out there and she bought us all gator claws, like
oh my God,
baby
necklace.
Gator necklaces.
I cannot. Just the claw of a gator. Dear Lord.
Like the whole paw.
I cannot.
Claws and all. And it was
nails.
And it was like this like nylon rope with like, remember those little plastic beads? It had 2 little plastic beads on it. I actually still may own this. I may have to dig into the trenches a little bit.
God, please.
But for real, I might still have it. I remember it having like a weird smell.
Ew, that's disgusting.
And of course I smelled it because I'm fucking weird.
Obviously.
Right.
Obviously.
So yeah, no, it's just
yeah.
So that was my first like vacation that I really remember. That was really positive, and I got to do some really cool shit for like the first time in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
How fun.
Okay. So as we're young, I don't know if everybody had parents like we had, but concerts were big in my family.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your first concert.
Okay.
Who was it? Where were you? Who went with you?
Okay.
How old were you, Obvi?
Fucking crazy. I think I was in 8th grade. And my mom got me and my best friend, Stephanie, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Tickets for my 13th birthday to go by ourselves to see Nickelback. No joke. No
You
joke.
are lying.
I am not lying.
Nickelback?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Also, I feel like child predators probably listen to Nickelback.
100%.
Okay.
And we went by ourselves. My mom
2
literally
beautiful little angel muffins.
dropped me off. I have pictures of when we were at that concert.
Shut your mouth
I
right now.
swear to God. It was at the Mesa Amphitheater.
Okay. So a small venue at least. It wasn't like
Yeah. And we literally were right up against like the barricades there. Like we were front and center.
She's like, she dropped you off early.
Yeah. or we pushed our way up. I
I'm
don't
sure.
know
I mean, I would have pushed my way up
what
too.
happened, but
Oh my God, I'm looking for my mom.
these 13-year-olds at a concert by themselves walking through this huge crowd for the first time. This is my first concert.
I mean, does Nickelback have like, do they like mosh?
I'm pretty sure that was happening.
Really?
Yes. I'm pretty sure that was happening. I don't remember much of the concert, but just thinking to myself as this dumb 13-year-old, like, oh my God, they're looking at me, and being so excited and feeling so fucking cool. Like I felt so cool, which is
I love
so
this for you,
embarrassing.
Kayla.
No, like this is so embarrassing.
You know
the
what,
worst
though?
thing ever.
I love it for you because you're able to say it out loud. And you have admitted that you get embarrassed easily, but that's fucking epic, girl.
I know, right? It was hilarious. And then, we left it to do. My mom picked us up, dropped us off, picked us up. And
so she was like, because before cell phones, kids, let's remember this.
yeah.
So was she just like, I will pick you up right in this exact spot at this exact time?
Honestly, I think at that time I might have had a Nokia brick phone.
No.
13, 14, yeah.
No, I
Eighth
didn't get
grade?
my first cell phone until I was 16 years old.
No,
and we are
not
the
me.
same. Did you
I
have a
got mine
pager?
early. No,
Did you have like one of those like two ways that you could only get a hold of your mom?
no. Nokia brick phones came out when like our freshman year of high school.
Yeah,
Or
and
before then.
I got in my sophomore year, and you're talking about 8th grade. So you're thinking that you just got one early.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Or maybe I was 14. Who knows? Maybe
Or maybe
it
you
was,
borrowed hers.
No,
Okay. Well, I mean,
because she
shit.
never had one of those. She had Blackberries.
Oh, she was
Yeah.
a BlackBerry girly.
Uh-huh.
They don't even know what those are.
I know. Blackberry
So amazing.
girly.
I had a couple of them myself.
I had one too.
I
and
loved it.
Oh my God. I loved it.
Yeah, I loved the typing on it.
I loved the little ball thing.
Yes, the little ball.
I thought I was so cool.
Oh yeah, and especially with the nails like clinking on the.
Yes.
because this is before also touchscreens.
Yeah. And I also had a sidekick. Did you have a sidekick?
I had the T-Mobile Sidekick. It was purple and white, but it flipped up. But it wasn't the Sidekick. It was the T-Mobile version. So I don't know if it was like Samsung or something.
Both versions of the sidekick because they came out right with like the 1 and the 2.
Yeah.
A couple years later. Oh my gosh, that thing.
Yeah, amazing.
That thing was epic.
Yeah.
Like that was
I
the
would still have
epitome
one of those.
of technology back in the day.
Yeah.
You were so cool if you had one.
The coolest.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Is that a Sidekick? There's no bro.
Oh yeah. Let me show you how it opens.
Yeah. And it like made that little clicky noise.
Yes.
Man, we got to get Dan to dub that in. We got to get that as one of the,
buttons.
The clicky noise of the T-Mobile and the Sidekick.
Yeah.
Flipper phones. Okay. So first concert. My mom and my stepdad actually, they went to a lot of concerts. I remember a lot of concerts when I was young. And my first one was NSYNC.
Oh my God.
Opened by Mandy Moore. And I still have the ticket stub. It was at Auction Pavilion. For those who don't know, it's like Ashley Furniture Home Store Arena or some shit now.
Really? Where is that?
Desert Sky Pavilion.
I don't remember.
So it's on the west side. It's right.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes. So Desert Sky Pavilion, and then it became Auction, and then it's now like Ashley Furniture. I just remember it Desert Sky because Desert Sky Mall was right there.
Right.
So it just made sense. But again, money talks.
Yeah, exactly.
Money gets to name things.
Yep.
So I remember my mom taking me, and I remember we were seated in the closest section, probably about halfway up. So I don't know if that's like 20 or 30 rows, I'm guessing. And I remember she sat down. She was like, we stood there. She sat down. She was to the left of me. She had earplugs.
Yeah.
I remember she had her Alanis Morissette t-shirt, concert t-shirt on, her cutoff sweat shorts, and her 2-strap Berkeys and her fat ass fanny pack.
Yeah.
And she sat there with her she had her Walkman stuffed in her fanny pack. And she literally sat there with her earplugs in and her headphones on the whole time while I was screaming my
Listening
fucking lungs
to
out.
what?
Whatever she was listening to. Probably Alanis Morissette, Melissa Etheridge, Jewel. She was listening to one of them at that time. But
Not listening to Mandy Moore and the Backstreet Boys.
no.
How dare
First
her?
off, do not defile NSYNC like that.
Oh, NSYNC. Sorry. My bad. Do not. I forgot.
I'll kill you. No. So yes, it was NSYNC. Mandy Moore opened up. And I just remember being like that was the first time I ever was able to scream as loud as I wanted to and nobody heard it around me because everybody else was screaming loud. Just as loud.
Yeah.
Still to this to this day, I have not lost my voice from screaming at a concert.
Besides then.
No, ever.
Oh.
Ever.
You didn't lose your voice after that concert?
Nope.
Oh. Wow.
Never lost my voice since.
God.
And I've been screaming at concerts.
And talking a lot.
Yeah.
And loudly.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
how does your voice never disappear?
I don't know. Hopefully I'll never get like any laryngeal paralysis or anything like that, because that'll ruin me. I mean, I got some good chords.
I got some good chords.
Yeah,
they're really great.
Chords. Yeah.
They work with me.
Yeah. NSYNC.
Wow.
I just remember bawling my eyes out too. And like,
I can imagine.
oh my God. And I think I was 6th grade.
Yeah.
7th grade, right around there. So, and it was the first time they had toured and the first time they were coming to Arizona.
Wow.
I remember.
That's so crazy.
I was obsessed.
Yeah. I never went to any like boy band, nothing concerts ever. Ever.
What?
My mom was poor.
Okay.
Remember?
No, but I mean,
those concerts were expensive.
Yes, they were
them,
very expensive. That's why my mom went and just sat there.
Yeah. I'm like,
yeah, no, they were super expensive.
yeah.
And I remember like expensive, like they were $100 a ticket sometimes or more.
Exactly.
And that was really expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because who the fuck were they?
Right.
But turned out to be somebody.
It turned out to be somebody.
Some of the best somebodies. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm NSYNC till the day I die. I was a BSB fan until NSYNC came around, and then I was like, BSB who?
Yeah. No, I do love me some NSYNC.
Yeah, all day. Okay, so first concert. Let's talk about our first kiss.
Oh man.
Where was yours? How old were
Okay.
you? Do you remember the person?
I remember everything.
Of course you do, because I do too. I think this is one of those things. It's like a core memory, but that's like involuntarily held.
Yeah. And I haven't thought about this in obviously a really long time. Okay. So we were already living in Arizona and we had gone out to California to visit my mom's family. And we were staying with my aunt. This was the summer between 7th and 8th grade.
Okay.
And my aunt had taken us to a friend's house that was having like a barbecue or whatever. And my mom, I actually think, you know what? I don't think I know. It was 4th of July.
Really?
Yes. It was 4th of July.
America.
Yeah. America. And so it was a 4th of July barbecue. And I didn't want to go, but then she was like, oh, my friend has kids your age and stuff. Like, you'll have fun. You guys can like go off and do whatever. Well, it was just this one boy.
Oh.
Uh-huh. And I remember he was super cute. And we're upstairs by ourselves, first of all. Like, excuse me, are there any parents around
Where are
to
the
like
adults?
monitor what is happening? We're like watching a movie or like playing video games. I can't remember specifically. And start making out. And yeah, I specifically remember like him having very big lips, like abnormally large lips, like kind of weird.
Okay. Like when you looked at him or like when you kissed him?
When I kissed him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like he was like,
yeah, it was like not great.
It wasn't cute.
No. But then I never talked to him again. So it was like it happened kind of like all day, like hanging out and stuff. And yeah, I never talked to him again. So
interesting. And like,
that was it.
Because this was like a friend of your mom's, right?
It was my mom's sister's friend.
Oh,
kid.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like totally random. Totally random.
So random.
Met him one day.
Yeah.
Didn't talk to him ever again.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was it. That was my first kiss.
I mean, that's not terrible.
No.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Got my toes wet.
Yeah, just a little. And then like you didn't have to like, it wasn't weird.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have to encounter
And I
him
lived
after
in
that.
Arizona. Like I lived in Arizona, completely different state.
Yeah. Okay. My first kiss, you actually know him.
Oh my God.
Or you might remember him. But anyways, so I had to switch schools halfway through 8th grade year, to go to a public high school from my private school that I was going to. So that my mom wanted me to make a couple friends before I went to the public high school for the first time in my life. So we went to Centennial Middle School, and I made a few friends. And I don't know if you remember, this was the place to make out, but
at school
in like 7th, 8th grade, the place was the Harkins.
Oh yeah.
AMC, I'm sorry, AMC 2024.
AMC 24.
Yeah. On Ray and yeah.
Duh.
So that's where it happened.
Yeah. Lots of things happen there.
I mean,
as like middle schoolers, I cannot.
Yeah. So we ended up going to high school with him as well. So it was kind of weird, but, his name was and there were a few other people there with us. Was there with somebody. This girl named Tara, I can't remember her last name. She was dating at the time. And Dan could dub those names out, but I had to tell you.
Yeah.
And I just remember we were watching Joe Dirt. So super
like
romantic.
At the movie theater?
Yep. We were in a theater. Yep. And they were all there. And then all of a sudden, like, he's on top of me. And I don't like, not like on top of me, but like he like leaned over.
Yeah.
And I just remember it being really wet. And like slimy and gross. And I was like, this can't be it. Like, this can't be what
it.
kissing is. Can't be. This is too wet and too gross. And I feel like I remember him tasting like Dr. Pepper.
Gross. That's disgusting.
Like, is that so weird? But yeah, it was really interesting. And I thankfully have not had a kiss like that ever since, because I would literally push him off now. But yeah, no, it was pretty
hard
wet.
pass. Buddy.
Yeah, it was a hard pass. But like, I know I don't know if it was his first or not. So probably not based on, but so there's that. Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun.
Oh man.
Okay. So let's just go on to our first date.
First date.
Like, official date, picked you up at your house, not a school dance.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you remember where you went, what you ate, what you were wearing.
Man.
If his parents had to pick you up. Like, if it was before 16.
Yeah, I think my first date was probably like my first real date was like my sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
And I was dating a guy that I had met through one of my swim friends, my like club swim friends.
Was he in high school with us?
No.
Okay.
So he went to Dobson.
Okay.
And we had started dating. And he took me to, where did he take me?
Get it together. What did you eat? What were you wearing? What was he wearing? What did he smell like? I don't know.
Weirdo. So, man, I am like brain farting. I thought I remembered. He was already driving at the time.
Okay.
He was a little bit older than me.
So he picked you up.
And he picked me up. Yeah. And I remember him having like this really piece of shit, like old truck.
Okay.
But it was fine, like because I thought I was like super cool because he could drive, right? And
my
anybody
boyfriend can drive.
Yeah. Hardly anybody could drive. And my mom, of course, was like, "Oh yeah, go have fun." Yeah. I'm like, dear Lord, like what are you talking about?
Poor Eliana.
I know, ridiculous. And so no, we actually went bowling.
Okay.
We went bowling at this place, like somewhere in Mesa.
Okay.
And you know, back then bowling alleys, like there, I don't know if there was smoking anymore.
Oh, by that time?
Yeah, by that time. But like they were still like kind of gross.
Yeah.
You know? And
they hadn't replaced the walls and the carpets yet.
No.
Yeah.
It was still nasty and old. But there was like, we get there and we're bowling, and then like a whole bunch of people that he went to school with end up showing up to bowl. And I guess apparently it was a thing. Like everybody went bowling all the time as like something fun to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was his group's thing.
Yeah. And so we were bowling. All these fucking people show up as we're on this date bowling. And I remember him like feeling so bad that like all these people showed up because he had like a really big group of friends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. Like truly didn't care. And yeah, that was that. And then I think we ended up like probably going to a party and then going home.
Too late.
And my mom used to let like boys stay the night at my house. Yeah.
Okay, so I do have a story about that. My mom allowed it as well, but it was very few boys.
Yeah.
Once she knew I wasn't having sex with.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not me.
Oh. Okay.
My mom was horrible. Like what? I would never. No. Absolutely not.
Yeah, that would never happen now.
Yeah.
Ever.
No.
Especially, so I have to bring something up. The reason I'm laughing is because this literally just flashed in my brain of you saying, if there was more access to the internet when we were younger, like when we were teenagers, you're like, I definitely would have been abducted.
Yeah.
Definitely.
100%.
And I would have been sold into sex trafficking for sure.
Yeah. I was so dumb. So stupid.
You're like, I'll allow it. So but I think that's
I just
hard.
wanted so much attention. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because your mom let it happen. Like you almost wanted her to say no.
Correct.
To set a boundary so that you had something to rebel against instead of her being like, sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. But then at the same time, she was a complete total bitch.
Yeah. I get it. Okay. So first date.
Yeah.
I lived a long ways away from my high school, but my first boyfriend actually, same first date because we were not together again, but it was around Valentine's Day, if I remember correctly. So it's like February, early February-ish. And I remember he was a server at Applebee's. And his name was Mike. And me and Sabrina used to go in and get boneless wings like every couple weeks. Because that was like, we loved it for some reason. And we would always get Mike as our server.
And listen, Applebee's back then, so good.
So good. The boneless wings were
like,
literally like the
back.
size of my palm.
And they were just, you go in there now and it's like, what am I eating? Like it's breading.
Yes. Yeah. And they were chickeny.
Yes.
Yes. So I had been hitting on him for a while. And finally I would be like, we should go on a date, blah, blah. And he's like, you're not even 18 years old yet. And I'm 5 years older than you are. So he's like, no. And then when I turned 18, I was like, I'm 18 now. And he's like, no. And then he said yes, like a month and a half later.
Yeah.
But anyways, so my first boyfriend, Mike, he came to my house out in Levine. So he drove and his parents lived in like the back corner of Ahwatukee. Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah.
what is
like
it?
Up in
The foothills. Yes. Yeah. They lived back there in the foothills. And so he probably had to drive 45 minutes.
Because the freeway wasn't there yet.
Correct. So it was probably 45 minutes to get to my house. And
Nowadays it would take like 10.
yeah. And my mom was like, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. You can go. I don't remember if I told her he was 23 when I was 18. So she might have said yes. She might have said no. But then I remember when he got there, my stepdad, my stepbrother Dan, and my brother Matt were all standing outside waiting for him.
Oh my God. Jesus.
And just standing there, and like it was so typical. Like it's exactly what I expected.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys, please don't embarrass me. And they're like, no, we're gonna embarrass you, blah 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 blah. And I was like, please don't. Like I really like this guy. So anyways, he picked me up. Poor him. He just had to be looked over. Like they didn't even talk to him. They're like, hey man, hey, I'm Mike. Nice to meet you. You know,
and that
like,
was it.
And that was it. Like,
yeah.
So anyways,
so stupid.
Yeah. And then I ended up dating him for 5 years. So
really?
Yeah, this is my first boyfriend.
Wow.
Yeah, it was on and off the last couple years, but it was, yeah. So we went to Z Tejas. He took me to Z Tejas. And I remember I was wearing like khaki capri cargos.
Oh dear.
And I want to say like a teal or a turquoise, like tight fitting shirt.
Like a tube top or something?
No, I think it was like a tee, like you know, because those boat neck tees,
Yeah.
do you remember? I think it was
That
something
are
like
back
that.
now?
Yes. So I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
And because I didn't know where we were going, so I didn't know, do I be formal? Do I not? And like, I've never really been a dress girly,
Yeah.
except for when I was in like my early 20s, like 20 to 25,
Yeah.
going out to bars and stuff. I would always be in a dress, and I always had a flower in my hair. But like, I was in and out of that phase, and now I haven't really been in it since. So anyways, I don't remember if we had already kissed or if he did it at the end of that date. Like, I don't remember if he did it in the beginning of the date or not. And I want to say he was like, I just wanted to get it out of the way, so it wasn't like weird or something. And it was, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is much better of what I expected to be.
Yeah.
Not that I wasn't making out with everybody I could get my hands on all through high school. I just never had a boyfriend because all the guys we went to high school with were DOUCHE bags. Hence my boyfriend being 5 years older than us. So yeah.
Yeah. That's why I didn't date people that I went to school with.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I feel like you always had a boyfriend from another school.
I did.
Boys loved you.
Yeah.
You were spunky and fun, and you were down to do anything. And you had, you also had like the availability.
Yeah.
Because like your mom would just be like, sure, go ahead, have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't like, okay, we're not asking her because she always says no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did a lot. Like I had a lot of fun in high school.
Good.
A lot of fun.
I love that. You should.
I actually had a doctor's appointment this week. Go in and we're chit-chatting and she's like talking to me and I'm telling her about Eliana starting high school and stuff. And she's like, so weird. Like I had a dream about my high school last night. I walked in, but I was like this age and I walked into the school and it was so bizarre and blah, blah, blah. So she's telling me about this. We're talking about something else. And she goes, you know, you look so familiar. What high school did you go to? And I was like, Mount Point. She goes, I went to Mount Point. I'm like, what year did you graduate? And she's like, 04. I'm like, I graduated 05.
Yeah.
And then we discover that like we had a class together and hilarious.
I love that.
So funny. And I'm like, you had a dream about high school. And then I came in to the office today.
She knew.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's foreshadowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, she should be a psychic.
Oh my God.
Okay, so let's talk about our first job. What was your first job?
Yeah.
Like not babysitting.
No.
You know,
like
not
real
getting paid
paycheck.
cash. Yeah, like W-2 employee.
Yeah. My first job was in high school. I think either my junior or senior year. I can't remember exactly what. But my dad worked at the Hyatt Regency in Scottsdale. And so they needed a hostess at one of their fine dining restaurants. It was called the Golden Swan at the time. And so I worked there at night, usually on the weekends, sometimes during the week too, and was a hostess. It was crazy as a first job because it was a fine dining restaurant, right? Like it was quiet. You couldn't talk. You could walk through the kitchen and hear a fucking pin drop. It was clean because the guests could walk through the kitchen. They were allowed to walk through the kitchen. It was insane. And then we had these black swans out on this like pond, and the whole restaurant could like see them no matter where you were sitting. It's like beautiful terrace. And yeah, it was crazy. So I would work like Easter brunches and stuff. Dude, for sitting people would just like hand me $20 bills, $100 bills. Yeah. First job.
I love that for you.
No joke.
Were you spending it?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you spending it on?
Who knows?
Clothes.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have your own car at the time, or did your parents drop you off?
No, I had my own car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So going with that, did your parents buy your first car? Or did you pay for half or?
No, I think I bought my first car with like saved up money from whatever, like babysitting stuff that I had done.
Yeah. Or graduation or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, I bought my first car.
What a girl.
It was only like $2,000 or something like that.
I mean,
it was nothing.
Yeah, but still, 2000 back then, you probably got a pretty decent car, and you probably had it for a couple of years.
Yeah, and I think honestly, for a while when I was working, because I was living in Ahwatukee and would drive to Scottsdale to work, so it's a pretty far drive.
Yeah.
I think I was using my mom's car for a little while because she didn't work. So
yeah,
all she did was sit at home.
Yeah.
So I would just take her car.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I remember I would like get to work most days, and my dad worked like in a different area. And so I would walk by like where my dad would work and like get to see my dad as he was like getting off work, because he worked in the mornings and then I worked in the evenings.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was cute.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I love that. And I'm sure he always made sure to stop by too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Okay. So my first job, I worked for Fieldwork Phoenix. It is a market research company. I don't know if it's still around. It might still be. But my job specifically was a recruiter. So, and we never did cold calls. So it was a place where you actually had to sign up and like fill out an application if you wanted to be called to do market research surveys. And then if you qualified for that survey, you would come in and do a focus group. And the focus group would literally be given to the company. And like, this is the feedback on this episode for this show. This is the feedback on this, item. So it was kind of interesting because I would ask these people questions, and a lot of times I didn't know who the client was.
Oh, interesting.
A lot of time they were blind or double blind. So we would be, and I can't tell you how many times people would be like, oh my God, can you tell me what the answer is so I can get it? And I'm like, no, bro, like just either answer the question, yes or no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and we had like quotas, like we had to tally all of the calls we did every day.
Wow.
But anyways, so my first job, I worked 27 hours a week. I worked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 4 to 8. And then Sunday from 2 to 9.
Yeah.
2 to 9 or 2 to 7. I can't remember. Might be 7. So no, it was 9. And I worked with Danny and Sabrina.
Oh my God, what a shit show.
It was great. We had a great time. And we all worked the same shift because that was a shift.
Yeah.
But we had this boss. His name was Dennis, also RIP. He was like this old Navy general, not general, lieutenant. And he was such a hard ass, but like he let us get away with murder.
Really?
He loved the three of us.
Oh my God.
Loved us. Like if we were late, he'd be like, girls, you're not supposed to be late, and like yell at us in front of everybody and then be like, hey, sorry, I had to yell at you. I just, like we loved him. We still saw him after we quit.
Yeah.
Cause we loved him so much. Us and one other employee. Cause we like became friends with all these people, but like it was wild because we were like 15 and a half. Danny and I, we all got hired at like 15 and a half. And then I was there till I was 17 or 18.
Wow.
So they were like, they let me really get into it because I got into more stuff. Like I got to see a lot of behind the line stuff.
Yeah.
Because I would go pick up the food and like tally things and make sure everybody got their order and make sure, like they kind of would let me in and do all these other things. So it was very interesting. But the interesting part was there were people there as young as us and as old as like my grandparents were at that time.
Weird.
We had like some older ladies that worked there that like, they were getting Social Security, but they were working like a little side job for cash or whatever, But also like there was a lady there who her and her husband couldn't have kids. And she was probably in her late 30s, early 40s at the time. Mm-hmm. And she had adopted 2 or 3 children from China. Like super interesting people, right? And then there's also like the other spectrum of people that were like, I'm here to do my job. I don't give a shit about this job, and then they would come in and out. But there were a lot of people would stay for a while.
Right.
But also like I was making I think I got hired at 6 something an hour. And by the time I left, I was making $7.50.
Wow.
So, and like, I remember going to my first tech job right from this job at 18 and they wanted to hire me at less, but I wouldn't take less because I was already making that amount at $7.50. I had to fight for $7.50 an hour to start.
$7.50.
$7.50. But like I
was making $16 an hour.
Shut your mouth.
Swear to God.
And I had $300 a month rent payment. I had a $200 a month car payment. Like, and I fucking made it work somehow. I also had 2 jobs though. Cause after my first job, my second and third job were at the same time. Mm. So, but anyways, first job, market research. Very interesting.
Wow. That's an interesting job.
Yeah.
That's such an old school job too. Like imagine that these days.
Oh my God. No, I would get killed.
Well, and it's probably like not even really a thing anymore.
Oh no, because then you can just put it out online.
Yeah.
And get paid for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Crazy.
Very.
Okay. So let's get really like deep now. Let's talk about like our first either like high impact loss or life lesson, like something that you're like, cool, I'm a piece of shit, or cool, I'm awesome, or, however you felt about it, but something that like really, or even made you like change course,
Yeah. Like, but high impact loss, like somebody who died.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for me, my senior year of high school, one of my best friends committed suicide. And it was, looking back, it is so crazy to see all the signs of like that being there.
You feel like there were signs?
Oh, 5,000,000%.
Okay. I did not know him that well, but I had 3 classes with him.
Yeah. So like he was always so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like
class clown.
So funny. Class clown, hands down.
Easy peasy.
Got along with everybody.
Yep.
Everybody. And swim team is usually during the first part of the school year. And so him and I swam together.
Yeah.
Him and my sister like hung out a lot. They were friends. He got like really close with my mom. He came over to our house all the time. And so anyways, like right before he passed was when like our swim season was kind of coming to a close. And at every single swim meet, he would bring these gigantic speakers to the meets, and we would play music and like be loud and, hang out or whatever. And my mom had taken the speakers after the swim meet, and they were in her car. And I remember literally the day before it had happened, he had come over to get his speakers. And he was like, oh, he didn't come in, which that was kind of weird now looking back to, because he would always come in and like hang out all the time.
Like he seemed like he was in a hurry that day.
Yeah. And so he got the speakers and he like hugged everybody goodbye. And I remember I like didn't have shoes on or something. And he was like, are you going to come hug me? And I'm like, no, I'm not walking over there. And that was the last time I saw him. So that like really sucks, and again, I was a senior in high school, right? Like still very young. And then the next day I was at the movies with like 4 or 5 people. And when we get out of the movies, and I think it was like swim team friends. When we get out of the movies, like everybody's phones are like blowing up about, hey, is it true? Like, is it true? What's happening? Like, is this true? And he had worked at Safeway at the time.
Yeah.
And so some of us like drive over to Safeway and like see what's happening to see if he's there, or like see if anybody knows anything. And then like we end up just driving to his house, and there are like cop cars everywhere and like just kind of mass chaos.
Did he do it in the house or in the street?
In the house.
Okay.
And I just remember thinking like, what the fuck is happening? Like, holy shit. I felt like I was in a movie. And then I can't remember if like I got a hold of him or somebody else. Like I can't remember exactly what happened, but our swim coach had gotten a hold of somebody and like literally told everybody to just go to the school. And they opened up the school to students that night, and everybody just hung out there. And that was like the first time I had experienced like a huge loss of life, like somebody who had died that I'm like super close with. And I think at such a young age, like that changed so many things for me, like living my life to its fullest and like being honest with my feelings and being able to be open about where I'm at with certain things. It's just super sad. Like, he was way too young.
Yeah.
Like he was not even halfway through his senior year.
Right.
And just being at his funeral, like the swim team got to be like people who carried out his casket, and like that was insane. But yeah, like it's sad that he felt like he had no other choice.
Right.
So yeah, that was like my first like super impactful loss. I actually got my very first tattoo for him too.
Yeah.
We got like back in the day, they had those like yellow Live Strong bracelets.
Yep. I remember I have his too.
Yeah. And so we got like blue bracelets for him that had his initials on it. And then it said Endure. So I got Endure tattooed on my wrist, like as my first tattoo.
I remember the gas station they were sold at.
Yeah. And then at his funeral, they had like a card, and it had like some poem on it or a prayer or something like that with a blue ribbon. Like it was just like a blue piece of yarn that was tied, and that's it. I saved that blue piece of yarn. And when I got married, you do your something borrowed and something whatever. And then I had each one of my bridesmaids like give me each of those things. And my something blue was that piece of ribbon. My sister tied it to my dress.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was there that day.
Yeah. So.
What?
Yep.
Oh, that's sweet, Kayla.
Yeah.
Yeah. R.I.P. Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a sweet boy.
He was a riot.
He was the best.
He was a fucking riot.
I just remember like it was, I don't know, like nobody was ever down around him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He'd always take one for the team, get in trouble for the class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a good kid. We all took a class with him. It was like a social, like history class.
Yeah. We were all in that class.
Yeah.
Sabrina.
Yep. Danny.
Danny, Courtney.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that was an amazing class.
Yeah, it was fun.
The TA was hot too.
Right by the freshman lockers.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you remember how hot the TA was? He went to ASU.
No.
Me and Sabrina got extra credit for going to one of his track meets.
Oh my God.
Just saying.
Oh my God. Such a hoe.
No, I had my boyfriend at the time, I think. No, because it was our junior year.
I feel like it was even sophomore year.
It might have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Boo-Boo.
Yeah. You know, it happens.
Yeah. And I knew you guys were really close too.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Okay. My first high impact loss was a suicide as well. It was my stepbrother, Dan. Mm-hmm. My brother Dan was a very complicated person, and I knew this at even a really young age. Mm-hmm. But he was also a cutter, and I didn't realize anything was really wrong with him until I was probably like 6th, 7th grade, where I finally realized like something is not right. And keep in mind, he was like 5 or 6 years older than me. So still young, but like, I remember like he would have like these like really hard moments. And granted, he also had some mental health stuff going on as well, just so everybody knows. And his medication was always changing, or he was not taking it, or it was being combined with something else. So there was a lot of things always going on with him. But I remember every time he would have like a breakup, I would see him the next day with his wrists bound every single time. So it became like this almost expected thing, which is absolutely terrible to say. But as a young person who didn't understand, and also keep in mind, my parents didn't talk to me about any of this. Like we did not talk about it as a home.
Whose kid was he?
This is Daryl's. This is my stepdad's.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is his youngest.
I didn't realize he had.
Yeah. Because he's been dead a very long time.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Dan and David are the stepbrothers. And so Dan and I had become close in my early 20s because he lived away from home. He always invited me to like hang out with him and his friends. And I think he just wanted to get to know me really. Mm-hmm. And in all reality, he scared me a little bit.
Yeah. Because
I didn't understand what was going on with him mentally. And I didn't even know it was a mental thing until I got older and until we lost him. But like he tried. I even have a postcard because he got a few too many DUIs and ended up in Tent City for a little while. And he sent me a postcard from Tent City and was talking to me about his cat Toast in the postcard. So like, and he was trying, and like, I remember going over to his house a couple times and everything was always cool. Like his friends were always really nice. They never were super creepy. I'm sure he was like, you touch or hit on my sister, I'll kill you. I'm sure that was him, but like he always hung out with a very interesting group of people. Keep this in mind as well. Like he was covered in tattoos and he collected VW buses, but he also had a very high IQ and had been doing like tech work for years on his own and like hacking into things. You know what I mean? So he was like this, like I said, he scared me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
And, so he always had like some craziness happening, but like his girlfriends were always nice and, it was just how it was. And he had a girlfriend at the time. They were getting ready to get married. And it was right before his 30th birthday. So, and we were supposed to be going to Vegas like a month and a half later to watch them get married.
Oh shit. So they never even got married.
No. So it apparently had happened the night before. He had cut himself. They had gotten in a fight and he had cut himself, and he called Daryl, and Daryl went and picked him up. They went to emergency, wrapped up his wrists. And then either a day or two after that, he reopened the wounds. And apparently there was blood all over the walls. I didn't go, but Matt did. And apparently it was just absolutely horrendous to see what state his home had become after or while all of this was happening. Like something was going down, like something mentally was happening with him. Like he was going through it and just nobody knew about it. But the worst of it is his roommate found him.
Ugh.
And his soon to be wife, his fiance, was at work.
Oh my God.
And I remember it was a Sunday morning that we got the call. And I remember I was actually out in the West Valley because my childhood friend Dusty had a house out there, and I had gone out there to party with him, and we were literally in his truck on the way to go get breakfast, and I got the phone call.
Wow.
And it was so crazy. And I was like, we got to, and he grew up with him too. So like childhood.
Yeah, so he like knew.
Yeah. Dusty was one of the few neighborhood kids that was always at our house.
Right.
And so, him and Dan were 1 year apart in the age.
They were close in age.
Yeah. Yes. And so he'd always known him. And so it was a really wild ride to see my family and how they moved through the process, because not once did anybody ever suggest I go see a counselor. Not once did we actually sit down as a family and like talk about what happened. Yeah. And I always thought that was really weird.
Yeah.
Like it was almost like it was understood not to talk about it and brush it under the rug.
Right.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
Especially with suicide, because it's so, and like granted, it's a lot less taboo to talk about now.
Sure.
But it still is happening every single day. And like that's the shitty part of the whole thing is like suicide affects people at every age. It affects people of every ethnicity. It affects people of every background. It affects people, and like everybody knows somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody's lost somebody.
Yeah.
And man, it was really, really, really wild. And it was really, really hard on our family because my stepdad he was always like the rock, the point of strength, the point of like compassion, anything we needed, we went to him, and like he just crumpled.
Yeah. He couldn't be any of those things.
He couldn't be any of those things for a really long time. And he never went and saw a counselor. He never and I just don't understand like the thinking behind it with him, but it changed him.
Yeah.
As a person.
Of course.
It changed him as a person.
I mean, I can't imagine losing a child.
Right? Like it's not supposed to happen that way.
Right. Exactly.
You're supposed, like the grandparents and the parents, like it's just not supposed to happen that way.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah. So yeah, it was insane.
Yeah. That's so sad.
I just remember like calling my boss too, because I was working at the first animal clinic I ever worked at. And I remember her saying, well, how much time do you think you need? And I'm like, I'm sorry. Did you not hear me? My stepbrother just died. Did you miss that part? I remember taking like a couple days off.
That's it.
That's it. If not the week. But other than that, like I was expected to be back at work, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with society?
Yeah.
Like now I look back on this and I'm like, this is fucked up. Like I should have My parents should have been like, hi, we're going to go to family counseling. That would have been the first thing I would have done.
I think at my work, I only get like either 5 to 10 days of FMLA if a spouse or child dies, something around that. And I'm like, if that happens to me, I'm out for like 6 months.
Yeah. I will be on a sabbatical.
Yeah. I don't care if my job's gone. I will mentally not be available to do a damn thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to take some time off after your mom passed though too.
Oh yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I got 2 weeks.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't enough.
I see the good thing is I didn't necessarily do FMLA. I just took like technically vacation and I have unlimited vacation. So like that's what I did. And luckily my boss was cool with allowing that. So I took about a month off, which still was not long enough. Let me tell you that.
No. Especially like when you get back to the waves of the emotions that come back.
Yeah.
There's no like, and there's no, you never know when it's coming. You never know how long it's going to last. You never, yeah.
Yep.
No, I wish that there was a lot more companies that kind of understood that, especially like if you were in a position too of like being that person's caregiver.
Yeah.
Or knowing that they had long-term care up to that point.
Yeah.
You know, like you happened to find it all out after your mom passed that she was going through a lot of medical shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's insane.
Well, and it's like I had to go through all of her shit. I had to bring all of her shit back to Arizona from California.
Yeah. And you're supposed to heal in that amount of time? Yeah, no, that's not
and
happening.
do a funeral and all of the things. Yeah. It sucked.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I can imagine. Especially because you were the oldest kid and the next of kin, technically.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Damn, girl. Okay, so let's liven it up. Yeah. Sorry, we got a little deep for a second, y'all. Okay, so your first roommate.
Okay, so it's funny. You're going to love this.
Yeah?
Besides my parents, I never had a roommate until I moved in with Dan.
Okay. I mean, Amanda's the same way.
I've only lived with Dan. I've lived by myself.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I've lived by myself multiple times.
But never
with a roommate. I never had a roommate.
Okay.
I didn't want a roommate. I wanted my own space. I didn't want anybody to fucking talk to me.
Well, and you made enough money that you could do that.
And I made enough money that I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is insane.
And so, yeah, I went from living with my parents to like living on my own to living back with my parents for a little while. And then I moved straight in with Dan and our 3 children.
Yeah. Right away.
And never looked back.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
I know. Yeah. Cause like legit, Dan and I moved in, like not Dan and I moved into Dan's house. Probably 4 or 5 months after we started dating.
Okay.
It was very fast.
That's okay.
Yeah. No, of course. Yeah. We're married and life is beautiful, but yeah, it was very fast.
Okay. I mean, Chris and I were only together like 7 or 8 months before we moved in together. And 5 of those months we had a year in between that.
Yeah.
But like once we got back together, we were talking about moving in within a month. And we moved in within 2.
I think I was 22, 23. Also, I was still young.
Yeah.
That's like.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
And then I'm like, oh, built-in family. Here you go. 3 kids. Have fun.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And I didn't have a job.
That's right.
And I didn't have a job. Yeah.
Freeloader.
I know. I got a job.
Yeah, you did.
Then I got another job and another job. And then here I am.
Yeah, killing it. All the jobs. Okay. My first roommate technically was Danny.
Oh.
But Dan. So we moved in together. Actually, no, that's a lie. Because I lived with, that's a huge lie. Scratch all that out, Dan, please and thank you. So technically, I moved out when I turned 18 and we were done with high school. So that was what, August
Yeah.
I'm sorry, May. I was out by August of that year.
Yeah.
I was living with, her name is Stephanie, and our friend Amanda, and they went to Desert Vista, Stephanie Retta, and Amanda Russo. And Amanda was 1 year younger than us. And it was amazing. And I loved the experience, but I would never live with multiple women again.
Yeah.
And we were 18.
Yeah.
Like I was paying like $300 a month in rent. Like we lived in a house in Tempe. We had people over all the time. Every weekend was a party.
I'm sure.
We all had animals. Like she had a cat. I had a dog. Because I had the Beamtown with me.
Yeah.
And it was chaotic.
I'm sure. I'm sure it was a lot of fun though too.
It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. But I hated because I shared a bathroom. I hated other people using our bathroom because our bathroom was like the community bathroom too. And it was fucking disgusting. And I was the only one that cleaned it. And so then I moved in with Danny and things were much better after
in the
that.
condo.
And actually our apartment, we were 18 and our first apartment was at the Arizona Grand. You know, you drive south on 48th Street and then you hit the green belt with like the golf course on the right. We were in the apartments on the left.
Okay.
So beautiful apartment, gorgeous apartment. And we had a great time as well. Had a lot of interesting encounters at that apartment. But it was very quiet. It was chill. We didn't have any problems. And we had no issues at all, thankfully.
Yeah.
Especially being two young girls.
Yeah.
And that's kind of tucked away.
Yeah.
And it was very dark. I remember like it was not well lit. So coming home at night was a little like we would get a little sketch-tastic.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was what it was and we were all good. So thank the Lord Almighty.
Here we are.
we made it.
We made it.
We made it. All right. So, the last thing I want to ask is the first big purchase, like your first like big one.
Like how big are we thinking?
I mean, so like brand new car,
yeah,
home,
okay,
not school loans because that doesn't,
So like my first car that I like had to get a loan for,
like your first car payment.
Was a Hyundai Sonata.
Yeah.
And it was actually really cute. And it was silver. I think it was like $8,000, $6,000, something along the lines.
Yeah.
I had used all of my graduation money to put as much money down on it as I could.
Okay.
However, I wasn't 18 yet, so I couldn't get a loan. So I had to have my parents get a loan, right?
Co-sign for you.
Yes, co-sign for me. So I made the payments, blah, blah, blah. Well, when I moved out, my fucking mother tried to say, nope, this is my car and I'm keeping it. And she did because it was under her name.
Shut your...
I swear to God. I was so pissed. Because it was like I put like $2,000 down with graduation money.
Yeah, but also you were still making those car payments, which were probably $200 or $300
it was like
a month.
$230 a month.
Yeah.
So pissed. Like that's how shady my mom was.
Oh, hell fucking no.
Because I think like something happened to her car, like it broke down or something like that. And so like she's like, oh no, I need a car. So sorry. So pissed.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a sneak peek into how great she was at times.
Okay. I had a couple of those times with my mom too.
And then I moved out and I moved in with Stephanie's sister.
Okay.
And she had just had a baby at that time. And so like I would babysit the baby so she could go work.
Perfect. Okay.
And I slept on the couch.
Not a girl. I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
I know.
Okay.
Crazy.
Oy vey. So my first like new car was I had traded in my like first car. I had a 2000 Volkswagen Golf that I had bought used, and I had paid it off, and I just remember it was at like 90 or 100,000 miles and stuff was starting to go wrong. And my parents were like, okay, trade it in, see if you can get any money for it and just get a new car. And I was like, fuck, okay. So I ended up getting a Toyota 4-door Yaris. It was mint green.
Oh my God. I cannot.
It was like the seafoamy mint green. And I loved it. I loved this car. I bought it brand new. I got the, like the Toyota financing and everything was perfect. And it was great. 6 months later, I get hit by somebody.
Oh my God.
And get it totaled. And that was my first time encountering gap insurance. And thankfully I had paid for said gap insurance.
Yeah.
Because they literally just wrote me a check for a new car. But 6 fucking months. And I loved this car. So everybody's like, go get another one. I was like, fuck no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So I got a Dodge Caliber.
Nice.
Yeah. But I was, oh my God, 6 months. Brand new.
That's
biggest purchase I've ever made in my whole life.
Mine was very similar. Like I didn't have it very long before my mom was like, no, I'm just going to keep it. I'm going to keep this car. You just pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I would, oh my God, I would have killed her. But no, I got hit on my lunch break.
Oh my God.
By a old lady who ran a stop sign. I was the traffic. She ran the stop sign. This is in Ahwatukee, by the way. And I ended up, between on 48th Street, between Elliott and Warner, right? So I worked on Elliott and 48th Street, and I was going to Warner and 48th Street. I never made it. And somebody came out of one of the neighborhoods, and she had her husband and her son in the car with her. And somehow this old ass lady was driving. She told the officer she didn't even see me. Told the officer.
Well, because that like street curves too.
Yes. And I was in the oncoming traffic. So I was on the southbound traffic. I ended up all the way across. I went across 3 lanes of traffic and ended up in the northbound lane.
Oh my God.
Thankfully, it wasn't super busy because it was lunchtime. And I remember, oh my God, it was so traumatic. This was not my first car accident, by the way. My mother got me in a few of those. So I remember saying that I thought I had hit my head on the windshield because there was a spot right at like temple length. And it was like busted, but like it didn't break the whole windshield.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it's very possible. My ankle was cut open from my ankle bone down to my heel. And it's funny because I have like no scar, which is crazy.
Wow.
And then I had some sort of, I know I had a tennis shoe on, but somehow I didn't have it on at the time of the accident. Or
Weird.
It was gone by the time we were going to the hospital. But anyways, so they think I'm concussed. So they strap me down to a fucking gurney, head strapped down, everything. I start to panic because I can't even turn my head to the side, right? Because I'm strapped down. I'm panicking, like straight up crying in the back of this fucking ambulance, panicking. And these motherfuckers, so we're in Ahwatukee, right? These motherfuckers try to take me down to that shitty ass little hospital that's on like University and oh my God. It's not even there anymore. That's how shitty it was. But it was down in Tempe.
Okay.
So, cause we're kind of close to Tempe. And I'm like, why would you guys take me there? The fucker passes it by miles. I'm like, is this your first day?
What is
this
happening?
whole time I'm panicking in the back because I think because I'm strapped down. I don't do well being strapped down unless I have I give the consent for it. I have found that out. But I just remember how traumatic this experience was. And I remember Daryl coming to pick me up and just bawling my eyes out when he picked me up.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's okay. You're fine. And I was like, they strapped me down and it was terrible. It was, oh my God, it was so bad.
So dramatic.
Yeah, it was so bad. But the officer actually came to my house the next day, because I remember they prescribed me Percocet. So this is one of those weird memories I remember. And I remember getting home. I got to my mom's house because I stayed at my mom and my stepdad's house because they were only like 2 miles from work. And they had an extra bedroom. So I stayed there for a few days while they could watch me because they did think I had a concussion. I don't think I actually ever did, by the way. But the officer came to their house the next day and he goes, yeah, you know, she told me she didn't even see you and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, great. And I remember I'd taken a Percocet the night before because they're like, take some pain medicine before you wake up because you're going to be really sore. I slept for 12 hours.
Jesus.
Blackout slept. And I literally dumped the Percocets the next day because I was like, I can't do this 12-hour blackout, don't even remember my life shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very interesting experience. And thankfully the officer was really, really, really great about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And my insurance was even better about it.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
Shout out to Progressive on that one.
Even better.
Yeah. Cause but they took care of me. Like it was insane. So, but I haven't been in that bad of one since then, thankfully. And I was 19 or 20.
Wow.
Right around there. I think I was less than 21 because I think I still had my tonsils.
The biggest car accident I ever got in was my mom decided that I should go pick my sister up from elementary school. I was in 8th or 9th grade. My mom asked me to go do this.
Was she in the car with you?
No.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I pick my sister up from school. I then decide that I'm going to go take us to Jamba Juice.
The one on Ray?
The one on Ray. Yeah. The old one.
Rain Circle?
Yeah, the old one where what was that? Baja Fresh used to be?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Over there. Well, in order to get there, I needed to make a U-turn at some light. I can't remember. Or no, we were leaving there and I needed to make I wanted to make a U-turn. I don't know why. The time of day, the sun was like right in my eyes. Yeah. I make a U-turn. This guy sideswipes me. Technically not my fault. And, I was so scared shitless that I drove off. I turn into the Target parking lot, right? So
yeah.
Target.
Right down the street.
When I turn into the Target parking lot, I'm going so fast, I hit the curb and the whole front end of my mom's van is like gone. Entirely gone. Entirely gone. My sister's in the front seat. I'm there. Our Jamba Juice is spilt everywhere.
Shut up.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Stop it.
Run into the gas station. They call 911. I am fucked. Oh, just entirely fucked. So yeah, I end up getting like 120 hours of community service and I can't get my license until I'm 17 or 17 and a half or something like that.
Did they call your mom?
Yeah. Oh, where
the fuck was she?
My dad.
I assume your dad was at work.
Something about like my dad ran all the way from our house to over there. Something crazy.
No way.
Swear.
Because you lived on
Warner Elliott Loop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stop.
To Target. Would. But he was like running a lot at that time. Not that that's like still not crazy. But yeah, got in a lot of trouble. But my mom was like, go pick your sister up. Who the fuck tells a kid without a driver's license to go?
My mom used to send my brother to go get her cigarettes.
Yeah. Like
we had a little like store in Levine called Tumbleweed. I guarantee it's not there anymore. But it was very sketchy and it was about the size of this room.
Yeah.
Full transparency. And they would sell us alcohol and cigarettes, us as kids, preteens and teenagers, because they knew we were taking it home to our parents and they knew where we lived. They knew our parents. They knew everything.
Oh my God.
And because my mom would go in, half the time.
Yeah.
But then I'm not lying to you. It was too far to walk, but we could ride a 4-wheeler from our house to Tumbleweed. That's what we would do. And they had a drive-through at the time.
Oh my God.
So my first drinking experience was going through that that drive-through and getting some oh my God, Fuzzy Navel, Boone's Farm.
Oh dear.
So anyways, but yeah, so no, this place, my brother and I could walk in and be like, 2 packs of Marble Lights 100s. And they'd be like, okay, here you go.
Here we go. I cannot.
I'd hand them a 10 and they'd hand me change. Like, what the and the thing is we would do it because my mom would be like, if you guys want to get an ice cream or a candy or a soda. Cause we could get either like 2 candy bars, 1 soda, or 1, like there was always $1 for each of us.
Right.
So we could get like a snacky poo. Fucking shit.
I cannot.
We used to do for our parents,
man.
Can you believe that? Yeah, no, had no problem. And they were selling my brother dip before he was 16, guaranteed.
Dear.
I think he was 12 or 13 when they started selling him dip.
Yeah. That's crazy. And now you can't have tobacco until you're 21.
I know. Fucking somebody finally got the memo that it's addictive as shit.
No shit. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that was a fun ending.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yay.
I loved that. Look at us.
You.
Yeah. I have a little firsts.
Right.
We'd love to hear some of your firsts.
Yeah.
Please.
Let us know.
Yeah.
So good.
Tell us what you got. Give us your juice.
Give us your juice.
Give us the juice. All right, boo.
All right. Till next time.
Till next time.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.